Hello everyone and welcome to another video on my little channel. My name is Silvia and for those of you who still don't know me, I'm a freelance illustrator based in Bologna and I love children's books and everything related to them. In this video, I would like to show you the process behind the series of illustrations I realized for the Summer Wonders Challenge I hosted with beautiful and amazing artists on Instagram during the month of June. All the names are listed in the description box below. I'll be chatting a bit about the process with a voiceover, that's the first time for me, but sometimes I leave you with some good music and a lot of digital painting to watch and relax. So grab a cup of tea, coffee, something fresh, a snack, and without further ado, let's go through it. This is the first illustration of the series and the prompt was camping trip and it took me 11 hours and 41 minutes to complete. Insane. As you can see, I started with a sketch I did traditionally on my sketchbook. I always use a color erase Prismacolor pencil in red for this part. I don't know why. I like red. So usually I took a picture of the sketch and send it to my iPad, import it on Procreate, and then I go over it with the 6B pencil brush, which is a basic brush of Procreate, and it's my favorite for sketching, but also coloring, and yeah, you'll see later. Here I'm tracing and changing a bit the shapes and composition to get the final sketch I'll color later. This was my very first landscape piece, as I told you extensively already in some of my previous vlogs. I like to use challenges to improve my art, where I know there is some luck. I've never drawn in this format, but my dream is to illustrate one day a picture book for children, and this is one of the most used formats as far as I know. So I decided to include more of this in my portfolio. I was very nervous drawing all this foliage and the bushes and the trees because, yes, I've drawn landscapes before, but never so big and wide. It was a real challenge for me. Maybe that's the reason why I spent so many hours on this first piece, because the other four were quicker than this, so it's like I got used to them. So my process is more or less the same for each illustration, but during this challenge I'm realizing now I changed and tuned a bit my usual procedure to speed up a bit on this large format, let's say, and I like it. It's like the process is in constant evolution and you are conscious of that. That's nice. For the flat colors and shadows, I typically use the ink bleed brush, which is a basic brush of Procreate, and so far it's my favorite. While for the textures, I use my beloved soft crayon 2.3 by Puppycat for large areas, the 6B pencil and the Bonobo chalk brushes, both from Procreate for cheeks, skin tones and other textures to enhance depth and three-dimensionality. I always add a lot of little textures and details on my illustrations, knowing that this is a waste of time for Instagram since the quality there is screwed up. But I always tend to overthink on my pieces, and sometimes they are so small changes that you can't actually tell by eye. Like now. Okay, the background is basically done, and now you can see the characters appearing again and a color test I did early. And I imported in this file, just as a reminder of the color scheme I want to go with. So yeah, now I'm coloring the characters with the same brushes I told you before. So, since my iPad is not the newest on the market and this painting is an A5, I don't have a lot of available layers to use, but I'm multiple layers addicted, guys. So I decided to get the background done in a dedicated file. Then I duplicated it, merged the highest amount of layers possible, and then I started with the characters there. This way I always have a good bunch of layers to use, but also the other file with all the unmerged layers. I really hope I explained it. But yeah, that's the trick. I didn't find any other method which is better than this one on the web, but if you have it, speak up, I'm listening to you.
I got my hand out the window, feeling the ocean breeze.
Adding some lights here and this kind of process has changed a lot from the very first start of my illustration path. I'm adding lights consciously now, while before I thought only about shadows. But indeed, lights are so important for an illustration. So here I'm using the Soft Crayon 2.3 by Pupicat to add lights, but I usually also use the Bonobo chalk brush. It just depends on the kind of light I want to add. And I think that's it for the first one. Good job!
We can drive around to the sky and see me. If it's fine by you, I'll take the passenger seat.
The second prompt was treats, and I had to draw ice creams. I'm an ice cream addicted, guys, you have to know that. I will handle the hot weather, the heat, and the pain of sweating constantly during summer just to eat ice creams. You have to know that. And I think my little girl had to have this addiction too. Am I wrong? Also in this case, I drew a quick sketch on my sketchbook and now I'm going over it with the 6B pencil brush. I struggled a bit with the position of the girl, I don't know why. The arm was too long, the legs were stiff, the head was too big. I don't know, so sometimes happens. Or maybe I just need to practice more on postures and bodies, I guess.
Take my hand and hold it tight. Look at the paintings, I'll be your guide. Don't stop looking in my eyes.
I've never bought an ice cream from one of those trucks though. That's a sad story. And actually, I'd never drawn one of them, so that was nice. That was a good practice.
Don't stop looking at me now. I know you don't care as much as I do, but I'm just content with me next to you. Let's go to an art museum, I'll explain it at the coffee shop. I know you don't get it, but there's no need to fret it. It's like a gift, it's about the thought. Monet might be too much and Van Gogh might take a while, but thank you for coming, I know that you're trying.
Okay, now it's time to find the color composition of this piece. For all the 5 illustrations of the series, I've tried to use the same color palette in order to have something consistent at the end.
Fall asleep, 'cause darling, you're sleepy, eyes are closing. Please stay awake for me. I know you wanna go, but please stay here with me. I could show you things that you've never seen. Let's go
gosh, I forgot how much I struggled with their dress colors. Can you see how many times I've changed them? No one of those combinations convinced me, but eventually I ended up with something nice anyway. That was a struggle. This illustration took me 9 hours and 29 minutes, which is like 2 hours faster than the first one, but I expected this since I don't know if you have noticed, but I loosened a bit the textures. And that's it for this illustration. We can go ahead towards the third one. The third prompt is Summer Nights, and it's one of my favorite prompts among all of them. This one has been a bit tricky because it's a night scene and I've drawn just another one in my life, just one. So yeah, I was a bit nervous about how to express that atmosphere I love of summer nights. I started directly on my iPad for this one, since on my sketchbook I drew just a thumbnail of the illustration, so just the rough idea of it. I don't like too much sketching directly on my iPad, I don't know why. I guess it's an irrational thought, since I'm so attached to paper and sketchbooks. As usual, I struggled a bit with the body shape, the feet, the angle and everything, but eventually I ended up finding a balance. For this one I tried something different for the shadows. Usually what I do is to do all flat colors and then add the shadows on top of each layer with the multiply mode. But for this one I felt like I could change a bit my process. So as you can see, I started directly on top of the sketch with my 6B pencil brush, tuning the intensity of the brush. Let's see if this will convince me later. And now let's start coloring the scene. After struggling with some colors, let's the real fight start. The fire. For this, guys, I won't lie, I got a bit crazy because I knew what I wanted, but I didn't know how to obtain it. The simplest of the problems. And here I figured out that I didn't like at all the shadows I did earlier. So I ended up using the same process as always, but yeah, those shadows have not been thrown away since I used them as a guide to add the new ones. Nothing has been wasted for this illustration. adding all the textures, which takes me the most of the time, but here I've squeezed it in few seconds because it's kind of boring for you, I guess. In the end, the final touch is fireflies, a lot of them. Because summer nights for me mean fireflies all around, silent nights in the countryside with starry skies, a telescope maybe, and a dog running and jumping here and there. So I wanted to put a little glimpse of my summer nights in here, and I'm so grateful for it because, yeah, now I love this piece. This illustration took me 9 hours and 48 minutes, not bad. And the third illustration is done as well. Here we are at the fourth illustration of the series and fourth prompt of the challenge, Midsummer Orchard. As soon as we decided for this prompt, I had in mind this scene, a little girl chilling under some trees in a quiet and silent peach orchard at the sunset, while the first lights are being turned on for the middle summer celebrations. So yeah, I've imagined a smell of good finger food, sugar and candies, and a gentle background sound of crickets and people chatting. Yeah, guys, the sound of crickets, this is my idea of summer. That's nice. So also in this case, I had a sketch done previously, and here I've just imported it, and now I'm going over it with my trusty 6B pencil brush. Actually, I had only the sketch of the little girl. All the background was not included, so I had to sketch it directly on my iPad. By the way, this is my very first time at drawing such trees. I've always avoided this, but now here we are, no escape. The sketch is done, and yeah, so many peaches. So now it's time for the colors, still the same palette as for the other illustrations. Coloring the trees with all their trunks, their foliage, and all those peaches. Well, it has been endless, trust me. Also because I didn't want the foliage to be overlaid in a way that in the end it's impossible to recognize which foliage belongs to which tree. So I struggled, as usual. Here is the moment when I've decided a sunset should have been way better, but I spent some time deciding which colors I wanted to use for it, and eventually I ended up using some peach pink and orange shades, which actually turned out very consistent with the whole mood of the illustration. And yeah, this illustration took me 9 hours and 45 minutes, almost the same as for the previous one. It's like I'm tuning and optimizing my process. I decided at the end to add a little bird as well, because I'm not good at drawing animals, but I love them. So I thought a little bird was super cute there. Adding lights everywhere, this time with the Bonobo chalk brush, since I wanted a very, very soft light laying on everything. And that's pretty much it for this illustration. And we arrive to the last illustration and last prompt of the challenge, which is memories. Such a perfect prompt for the end of this adventure. As I wrote in the caption on Instagram, each year at the end of a holiday, trip, adventure, or whatever, I always had this bittersweet feeling of something beautiful and relaxing already over. You know, you're not sad because you spent some really high quality time and you enjoyed so much the experience, but at the same time, you're a bit down because you just want some more. I think you can relate. Memories for me mean, of course, pictures. I always take pictures of everything because I want to remember each piece of that, and I wanted this to be well visible in the illustration. During this challenge, I discovered I like a lot drawing interiors, rooms, objects, furniture, little details which make an apartment a real house, a little shelter for its resident, and yeah, I really love this. After the sketch, I started the usual process, flat colors, playing with them till I found the best combination for my eyes. I love watching these videos recorded by the iPad because they make me live again that sensation of something being completed with love and effort. I really enjoy looking at them, and I hope you're enjoying it too. So yeah, let's speed up a bit the process for textures and shadows, since it can last a good amount of minutes, and I'm afraid it will be a bit boring for you. But yeah, here you can still see all the process, just a bit speeded up. As final steps for this illustration, I'm adding here the lights, and I decided to add also all the previous illustrations I did for the series as pictures the little girl took during the summer. I think it's a super cute idea. And yeah, the last illustration of the series is done as well. we are at the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it and you spent some minutes relaxing and chilling with me. Thanks as always for watching my video, and if you liked it, let me know by leaving a thumb up. It will be really helpful. If you're not subscribed to my channel yet and you like my content, subscribe! There will be more content about art, digital illustration, the daily life of a freelance illustrator, and many more. If you don't want to, don't worry. You're already watching this and it means the world to me. So my loves, thank you again and see you in the next video. Bye!